A human being comes into this world only once, and there is no possibility of coming back again. This reality increases the value and importance of life even more. This unique life, which is the greatest opportunity granted to a human being, gains meaning only if it is lived for a purpose. Therefore, more important than simply living is living for a purpose. And more important than living for a purpose is being able to live for the right purpose. The one who granted us this life clearly declares our purpose in the Holy Qur'an, our guide for living, through many verses. After emphasizing the importance of life, He announces our life's objective in a clear and simple way, without leaving any room for confusion. I did not create jinn and mankind except to worship me. The Qur'an, which is clear and manifest, gives a direct and uncomplicated answer to one of life's most fundamental questions. What is the purpose of living? It says, worship. Unlike philosophical definitions that do nothing but complicate life, the Qur'an's definition of life's purpose draws two clear paths for humanity: the path of worshipping Allah or the path of worshipping everything other than Allah. After presenting worship as the purpose of life, Allah teaches us how to live this life as an ideal servant. He commands, say, indeed, my prayer, my sacrifice, my living and my dying are for Allah, Lord of the worlds. By urging us to dedicate all acts of worship, our entire life, and even our death to Him, Allah gives His servants the formula of true servanthood. By making us declare that we will live and complete our lives for His sake, He emphasizes that worship is a matter of life and death. In the Holy Qur'an, we see that all prophets invited their people to monotheism and worship with the same call: O my people, worship Allah, you have no deity other than Him. Because worship is monotheism put into action and brought into life. Monotheism is a belief, and no belief can truly live unless it turns into action. This has always been the method of the prophets, tying monotheism to worship and transforming belief into lived faith. The prophets who turned the statement La ilaha illallah into a way of life by connecting it to worship struggled to establish lives built upon monotheism. Because when worship of Allah is grounded in true monotheism, only then will servitude to people disappear and creed will encompass life completely. As a result of such firmness, the sincere servant who grows upon this foundation will consider Allah in every matter of this world, in every stage of life. He will fulfill His commands, avoid what He has forbidden, and when it comes to striving in His path, He will challenge the world itself. What does worship give to a human being? Worshipping Allah liberates a person. At first glance, worship and freedom appear to be opposites. Worship means obedience, submission, humility, and surrender. Freedom, on the other hand, suggests independence, not being bound, not submitting, being autonomous. If these two words are so opposite, how can they come together in one sentence, and how can one be the cause of the other? The answer lies within the understanding of worshipping Allah. According to Islam, the person who truly becomes a servant of Allah is freed from the slavery, pressure, control, and domination of others. By surrendering to the one and only Lord, the Most High, this submission saves him from submitting to thousands of others and grants him real freedom. As a result, a person reaches an honorable servanthood and is rescued from a humiliating slavery. As Iqbal beautifully said, that one prostration you perform reluctantly saves you from 1,000 prostrations. So-called champions of freedom, however, enslave people to their desires to devils and to their own systems in the name of freedom. Aren't they always like that? They say freedom and bring oppression. They say democracy and bring dictatorship. They shout spring, spring, and bring a harsh winter. Worshipping Allah gives happiness and peace. Today, the world is mobilized in search of happiness and inner peace. Countless methods and systems are presented in the name of happiness. Yet because these methods only pamper the ego and strengthen the influence of the devil, they push humanity into deeper unrest. The Qur'an, however, gives the most beautiful prescription to the spiritual world of human beings and answers the difficult question, what is the path to happiness? With a simple statement. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find tranquility. Without tranquility, a person cannot attain happiness, and without becoming a servant of Allah, one cannot attain tranquility. This simple truth is the solution itself. Mevlana expresses the joy he found in servanthood in a beautiful way. I became a servant. I became a servant. Because I could not fulfill my duty of servanthood as it deserved, I bowed my head in humility. Every slave rejoices when he is freed, but I rejoice as long as my servitude to you continues. Worshipping Allah grants nobility. It is worship that makes a human truly human, that elevates him beyond being merely flesh and bone. As a person submits to the Most High, he rises. As he annihilates himself in him, he truly finds existence. As he loves him, he becomes loved. Worshipping Allah saves a person from ingratitude. It teaches loyalty and faithfulness while warning against thanklessness. When all prophets called people to worship Allah, they were in fact calling them to loyalty and gratitude. In contrast, the enemies of Allah call people to serve others or themselves, which is in reality a call to ingratitude and destruction. In Surah Hijr, this reality is expressed as follows. I call you to salvation, but you call me to the fire. You call me to ingratitude, while I call you to Allah, the Mighty, the Forgiving. Worshipping Allah gives a person a spirit of struggle. This spirit first frees people from serving other people and then calls them to serve the one and only Allah. The struggle of a Muslim has always had two wings. First, he removes obstacles preventing himself from living as a true servant of Allah. Then he strives so that all people abandon servitude to creation and live only as servants of Allah. In this struggle, true obedience is essential. Obedience is an inseparable part of worship. Those who obey other authorities in defiance of Allah and do not dedicate their servitude exclusively to Him fail to uphold the statement repeated many times in prayer, "You alone we worship." This declaration is the pledge of accepting Allah as the sole authority in every matter. A Muslim must know that only Allah is worthy of his obedience and worship, and he must live for Him. He must never forget that the value of life is known only when it is lived for His sake. Allah is our Creator. He is the only power sustaining our existence. He is the one who will call us to account. He is our one and only Lord. All praise belongs to Him for His existence. All praise belongs to Him for what He gives. May our very existence be sacrificed for His existence. And why should I not worship my Lord when He created me from nothing? I have been commanded only to worship Allah and not associate anything with Him. Say, O ignorant ones, do you command me to worship other than Allah?